During the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly by the Land-Sent COVID-19 Commission of Experts.
When Uganda registered her first case of COVID-19 on 21st March 2020, the country's leadership instituted a number of measures to contain the spread of the disease. The measures included total lockdown, development of standard operating procedures, tracing and testing of contacts. These measures have been considered as having played a major role in containing the pandemic, earning Uganda global recognition.
This is evidenced by a recent study published in the Lancet Medical Journal, released during the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly by the Lancet COVID-19 Commission of Experts, who listed Uganda among the 10 best countries in responding to the COVID-19 pandemic globally and the best in Africa. So congratulations, Uganda.
On the issue of vaccination, over 32,000 people considered to be at high risk of contracting the disease have received their first dose of COVID-19, and the target is to vaccinate 22 million people, including refugees.
Vaccination program still continues. We are going to cascade this vaccination until the entire population is covered.
The Ministry of Health is also in the process of accrediting private facilities to offer COVID-19 vaccination.
The list of the facilities that will be accredited will be provided once an understanding and a memorandum of understanding signed, spelling out the modalities of the collaboration.
However, corporate companies wishing to import COVID-19 vaccines for their employees have been asked to apply through the Ministry of Health.
To write to the Director General Health Services requesting to import COVID-19 vaccines which are cleared by the World Health Organization for emergency use and approved by the National Drug Authority for use in Uganda.
It has been a year now since Uganda registered her first case of COVID-19, and so far 334 lives have been lost. Adiana Kote, UBC.
Ugandans have been encouraged to embrace the COVID-19 vaccine to complement efforts in the fight against the pandemic. State Minister for Information Peter Ogwang allays fears of the vaccine being harmful to human health, and this was at the Parliament of Uganda, where legislators embraced the exercise, calling on others to do the same.
The queues were long, but the clients were patient as the COVID-19 vaccination exercise kicked off at Parliament. It is meant to stop and prevent the spread of the coronavirus, targeting the staff and members of Parliament.
Our target is to reduce COVID-19 eruption in the public.
Members of Parliament, some of whom are ministers, have embraced the exercise.
I think it is good to have the vaccine so that I can boost my immunity to fight COVID. But most importantly, this may likely become a requirement for international travel. As somebody who has had a career globally, I think it's important to have this card.
I want to advise and call upon the people of Uganda and those who fall within the categories, please, if your time has come and you've been called upon, go and take this vaccine. It's for our health.
With ministers embracing this exercise, why not the rest of the public? This is the question that ministers and MPs posed and answered at the same time. John Biabagambi of Karamoja Affairs and Persis Namuganza of State for Lands were some of them.
First and foremost, I read a lot, and I have read a lot about this vaccine. And I want to disprove the doubting Thomases that actually the vaccine is safe. And even the injection was very smooth.
Some journalists who cover parliamentary activities also embraced the exercise, emphasizing the need to live healthy.
So whenever there's an opportunity, I thought, or I think it's necessary for you to use that opportunity, because life comes once and life goes once.
Vaccination against COVID-19 for staff and members of Parliament was announced by the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, early this week. The exercise, being conducted by KCCA medical officials, aims at covering all members and parliamentary staff in the next 3 days. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Judith Nabakova, has been impressed by the progress of the modification, upgrade and installations of the National Information and Technology Authority, NITA, grids in the Buganda sub-region. The grid, which is currently stationed in Masaka Regional Police Station in Masaka City, upon full completion, will ease the transfer, access and flow of information in 6 neighboring districts.
After completion of her Toro Sub-Region Innovation and Technology Tour recently, Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Judith Nabakova, is now in Buganda Sub-Region. This is Masaka Regional Police Station in Masaka City, where National Information and Technology Authority, NITA, has installed a regional server.
Here we serve Masaka and its greater environs. That means by now we are serving up to Luengo. We are providing services to sites within Masaka, but it is also used to transport traffic that comes from Kampala, going to Mutukula and going to Mbarara. So it will go through all the way to Mbarara, then it will take to the border with Rwanda, but now this is the central point where everything collects.
Upon commencement of its operations, it is believed that the flow of information in the sub-region will be eased.
This infrastructure is set up to enable us to digitize our services to the people, to provide services online. And by providing services online, we are trying to bring efficiency, bring transparency, and corruption, so that because I can sit in my home and be able to get a government service.
The minister, who was among others accompanied by the NITA Uganda Executive Director, was impressed by the level of progress.
We have a data center where traffic flow is monitored but also controlled. The data center manages data all the way from Western region, Southern region, Mpigi area, and also see the projects that are being implemented. The CCTV project also uses internet in one way or another, but we happened also to see the 9-9 communication system. Previously, people would call, then their calls would go straight to Kampala. But as we speak now, the system is decentralized. Whoever calls and comes from one of the 9 districts that make up Greater Masaka, their calls will end up at CPS Masaka, meaning that there will be timely and quick response.
Other engagements of the day in the same region included a meeting with television, radio and print editors and reporters.
Time stories are picked from daily newspapers and also social media, but how can we break those stories down to make impact among our community members, and also probably to interpret them further for members of the public to interpret. If there are government programs, we want to see the media reporting the opportunities and probably the programs that are being implemented by government at various levels, especially programs that are geared towards improving household incomes.
It is anticipated that through easing access and availability of cheap IT services to the community, Uganda's domestic growth, especially amongst the youth in this area, will drastically shoot up.
And you know that right now, with the mobile money in place, it is replacing the services that were being offered by many banks, but offered somebody who is seated in one place. So these innovations in ICT, if embraced very well, are going to create opportunities for young people to have jobs, to be innovative, and create jobs themselves, but also improve efficiency and service delivery within the country.
Uganda-Tanzania Mutukula border, Nita Grids, will be the next stopover for the minister and her delegation. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Masaka City.
Member of Parliament for Gomba West constituency, Robin Rakojo, has declared her candidature for the Deputy Speakership in the 11th Parliament. She now becomes the 8th Member of Parliament to express interest in the position, as Philip Aguta reports.
A lawyer by profession with experience spanning 25 years at the Justice and Constitutional Affairs Ministry, Robin Rakojo is a directly elected Member of Parliament. Representing Gomba West constituency in the Central Region district of Gomba, she joined Parliament in 2016. Rakojo is one of the few female MPs that represent a constituency as opposed to affirmative action of representing a district.
I am a female adult Ugandan lawyer who worked in the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs for 25.5 years, and I rose through the ranks. I began as a People's State Attorney. I went to the post of State Attorney, Senior State Attorney, Principal State Attorney, Commissioner, Civil Litigation Line Ministries, and I also acted as Director Civil Litigation for about 7 years.
Even when 2016 marked her first time as an MP, she was able to serve in various national capacities at Parliament. She was Vice Chairperson, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, and Chairperson of Select Committee investigating sexual harassment in schools. Currently, she is the Vice Chairperson, Equal Opportunities Committee.
Considering the committees act as mini parliaments in their mode of work, I believe it has given me the experience to blend with my vast legal knowledge, and since my re-election, a number of colleagues have approached me and asked me to take up this position. This, coupled with my interest in parliamentary procedure, encouraged me to vie for the position of Deputy Speaker.
Now seeking mandate to be Deputy Speaker of the 11th Parliament, Ms. Rakojo pledges to enhance debating skills of MPs. Upon a successful election, she looks forward to improving welfare of the MPs besides promoting good working relationship with other arms of government.
Further, that there will also be enhancement of a good working relationship between the office of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, members of Parliament and the staff of Parliament.
She said all this while launching her campaign team at Imperial Royal Hotel in Kampala. The team described her as down-to-earth with a wealth of legal experience. Among others, the team is comprised of Veronica Eragu, MP Kabramaido, and Asamo Helen, Chairperson of Equal Opportunities Committee.
I have worked with Honorable Robina, and I want to say that if it was a possibility of getting somebody who has got credit, somebody who has got quality, and somebody who has got the stamina, Honorable Robina should be given that position.
The Speaker who is coming to be the Speaker of the 11th Parliament will need somebody like Robina. She's very cooperative.
Robin Rakojo becomes the 8th MP to express interest in the Deputy Speakership of the 11th Parliament. Others are Jacob Oboth, MP West Budama South, Anita Amonki, Woman MP Bukedia District, Mohamed Nsereko, MP Kampala Central, Theodosis Kuwo, Lwemyaga County, Eric Musana, MP Buyaga East, and Taebwa Thomas of Ruhinda North County. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kampala.
The high cost of access to internet services coupled with lack of digital literacy remain major hindrances to most local governments' adoption to the use of ICT for budget transparency and accountability. A research conducted by the Advocates Coalition for Development and Environment in selected districts last year indicates that despite a spiral adoption of ICT, use occasioned by the COVID-19 lockdown, local governments remain shy to transit to the new normal. Florence Kutesa, a lead researcher, reveals that most respondents confess that they only use ICT where it is unavoidable, like filing periodic reports and accounting for funds spent.
According to the report by Advocates Coalition for Development and Environment, ACOD, access to information, communication and technologies across the country has over the years grown in leaps and bounds, although very few people have access to internet.
Access to most of the ITs is high. Over 50% or over 70% had access. However, less than 50% had access to video calls and internet services. And very few, only about 60%, had access to intranet outside office.
The same report indicates that despite government's move to ensure e-services to reduce leakages of funds, most local governments are yet to embrace the use of ICTs.
We also probed them and asked them, why is it that they are not using the websites? Or they are not happy with the websites? The most interesting was on their own district website. Some indicated they are always and currently under construction. They are inactive, always on and off, no regular updates. They are dysfunctional for many years. They have limited relevant information, and a significant number say they are not aware of the district website.
Dr. Athabaino Mujisha, the executive director, ACOD, says apart from having no access to internet, some districts still use outdated computers, yet the issue of digital divide is high.
Interestingly, we found that Moroto had the newest computers, but districts like Mbarara, they had few computers and they were very, very old, and yet we thought that Mbarara now is a city, has a city that they had modern technology. They didn't have. But we also found that most people, especially the technical people at the district level, had just moderate skills or moderate levels of use of this ICT infrastructure.
Civil society organizations advocating for efficient budgeting processes that entail full citizen participation fault this complacency on ICT use for hindering transparency and accountability. Civil society organizations are now advocating for enhanced awareness of the value of budget transparency and reduction of costs on internet services.
I don't want to say remove OTT, but I think we humbly appeal to government to see how the internet services can become relatively affordable.
Clearly, in this engagement, that the capacity building of both technical staff at the district level and even the council level should be emphasized. And that is a very good finding that as a ministry we are going to undertake and build capacity.
These findings were filed from 6 districts of Gulu, Masindi, Mbale, Mbarara, Moroto and Mukono. Dokas Kmono, UBC News.
The resident district commissioner, Karenga District, Mimbaza Hashaka, has warned cattle rustlers planning to disorganize the restored peace in the region to think twice before they take any move.
Following ongoing instability in Karamoja sub-region, security personnel has resorted to finding all means of disabling enemies ever since serious raids started. UPDF tightened security at border districts to detect enemies of the region, as well as assist in protecting those in grazing grounds. However, despite efforts UPDF has put in protecting the herdsmen with their animals, regular raids are still ongoing in the region.
Come here, and I crossing my goats, and then I go to the forest. Then I'm crossing there, and I cross there. Then the enemies come. If he come, then they catch me. They say you bring the goat, and then I say she's there. You help me. You help me, and I go now. Then she saying that you go now. They took the goat from there.
Resident District Commissioner Karenga Mpimbaza Hashaka says UPDF has beefed up men in uniform in the area to encounter cattle rustlers.
as far as security is concerned, of recent we've been having cases of insecurity, and the cases of insecurity have been caused by the warriors and cattle thefts. And we've been having people crossing from the other side of the Sudan, the Didinga, we have the Turkana, then we have the G warriors, then we have the Dodoth who normally crossing. But since I came, we have managed now to bridge the gap, because as we talk now, we have had deployments, because I remember by the time I came, the situation was not all that good, but as I talk, it has greatly improved.
Hashaka noted that the situation had run out of hand, hence the need for joint security efforts. UPDF is also working towards disarming those with firearms in the region and has further warned those planning to defy the process to stay clear.
Therefore, I want to warn anybody who crosses and comes to Karenga to cause havoc, to disturb our people, disturb the tourists. The advice I can give that person is to come prepared to go back lying horizontal or to make his will, because I am very sure that those who are now coming are not going back when they are alive, because the security committee has sat and we have resolved that we shall shoot to kill anybody coming to disturb the peace of Karenga, anybody stealing animals, anybody stealing the tourists.
In bid to track enemies, the security is to halt gateway bus night services, since there's rumor that warriors might have taken advantage of this. Obo Joseph, Helen Barbara for UBC News.
Kapo, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA visit.
But you can access URA online. Why pay a visit?
To know more about the Kakasa Business Solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program and electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Wait.
Omuntu n'omu akulemesa kumalawo kikyo y'ensonga lwaki MTN ekuwa data bana ataggwako. Teekako data wa MTN Freedom Bundle ng'okozesa My MTN app olw'emirimu eddembe okozesa data mu bujjuvu. MTN.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
That's their way of stopping HIV. What about you?
Thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. The Uganda Registration Services Bureau has launched their nationwide branch in Masaka City, joining the already existing 4 branches of Arua, Gulu, Mbarara and Bali. The branch shall offer URSB services, entire spectrum of services, with the vision of helping enterprising Ugandans from across the region to take full advantage of easy access to services.
While launching URSB's Masaka branch, Minister for Constitutional Affairs Ephraim Kamuntu said it was a milestone achievement not only for URSB but for the innovation sector.
Key player in the growth of the private sector through the mandate that you have of business formalization. Business formalization, you have to register businesses, you have to register marriages, you have to register copyrights. This is the indication of civilized, modernized, developed economies.
The launch was attended by a cross-section of people from the region.
Get facilities like from the banks, from where you are trusted. The marriages are aligned properly, and other services that would make us travel 130 kilometers to Kampala.
We are in a community whereby you find that even though an aspect is supposed to be registered and people have moved a step, you take an example of marriage. When people go for introduction, they just consider that as a customary marriage. When they go to churches and mosques, they feel as if that's the end. They do not bother about registration.
Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Judith Nabakova, who partly joined the ceremony, acknowledged government's commitment to upgrading the ICT sector.
I was told that before, registration of a business will take about 30 days. But as we speak now, only 4 hours, one can be in position to register a business. So today is one of the 700 sites and 300 Wi-Fi hotspots that we have already connected. So encourage even members of the public, the business community who want to use internet services, to always reach out to the internet service providers. Definitely you get connected to the NBI and it will ease your business. Now we hear the
Masikaino Wisho, the General Registrar, URSB, highlights the importance of having a branch in Masaka.
I want to encourage the people of Masaka, especially the private sector and the business community, to take advantage of our services, because now that we are here, we are trying to accomplish the national vision of decentralization of services, as we also move into virtual offices for those cities that can access internet.
Gulu City has been applauded for properly utilizing the World Bank USMID funds for construction of standard roads, installation of street lights and cameras. This follows inspection of the Uganda's support to municipal infrastructure development, additional financing program infrastructure in the city conducted by the officials of the Ministry of Lands and Local Government and the Program Technical Committee.
Gulu City has been applauded for successfully implementing the World Bank USMID funds.
Gulu has done a fantastic job actually, and from our monitoring of the program, we have seen that Gulu has done very well. They've done well in infrastructure, they've done well in institutional development of the city, and I think we can say that Gulu is one of the cities which really worked, or which we are ready to become city.
The city used 83 billion shillings in the first phase, 41 billion shillings in the second phase to construct 33 quality urban roads. The USMID Program Technical Committee and officials from the line ministries of local government and gender concur that the good work done by the city has made Gulu become the signature project in the program. The team on Thursday inspected the roads, signage and solar-powered street lights.
Gulu is very strong when it comes to teamwork. We only hope that you will be able to maintain it, because it's also possible that people continue praising you and you begin enjoying praises so much and forget even to work harder. So it gives you a very big challenge.
Gulu City Mayor George Labeja, who oversaw the infrastructure development as both a municipality and now city mayor, dismissed claims that he stole some of the street lights.
This solar street light that you are going to see, the 500, they say a half of it there at my farm. I don't know whether one day also you will arrange and go and inspect the one which are in the farm.
USMID coordinator Olaya Gilbert also noted that some of the items like solar panels and street lights are being vandalized. However, the officials warned the incoming administration that they should maintain or upgrade the current standards. Olaka Charles Felix from the Ministry of Local Government also confirmed that the formal structures of the city will soon be tabled before Parliament. Gulu City has expanded almost 8 times since it was pronounced a city on the 1st of July 2020, but it's still operating on the same budget.
Right now we have 2 fully-fledged municipalities at the lower level. Then at the city level we have a city government. The leadership at the division, city division, is saying now, since we are a municipality, you tell us our budget so that we can plan for it and also prioritize. So the
first USMID program benefited 14 municipalities of Arua, Lira, Soroti, Entebbe, Mbale, Toro, Jinja, Masaka, Hoima, Fort Poto, Mbara, Kabale, Moroto and Gulu. But the additional financing now includes 8 more municipalities of Kitgum, Kamuli, Mubende, Kasese, Busia, Ntungamo, Apach and Lugazi. Joseph Omagol, Helen Barbara for UBC News.
Construction plans for Kabarole District Headquarters have stalled due to a row between Kabarole District Local Government and Toro Kingdom over land. After Fort Poto became a tourism city, there was need to shift the district headquarters to Butsoro sub-county. However, the land in Kabarole District that covers 61 acres has become a matter of contention between Toro Kingdom and Kabarole District Local Government.
Kabarole District claims ownership of the 12 acres where they want to build the district headquarters, but Toro Kingdom claims ownership of the entire land, hence Arango.
Yeah, this side is what the kingdom claims as their land, but it is Gombora land. And this side, going through the road downwards to the wetland, is what we have as our 12 acres.
12 acres that is unsurveyed is also occupied. It's occupied by Toro Kingdom because we have got our historical buildings there. And we have to look at the ownership of that land from the historical perspective.
The misunderstanding between the two has stalled the construction plans of the new Kabarole District Headquarters.
Since 1967, we have been there. The 1995 Constitution recognizes us, and we are seated on crown land, not major land.
The properties and pieces of lands which are supposed to be returned to Toro Kingdom are both registered and unregistered.
Following the land dispute, recently Kabarole District Council resolved banning the singing of Toro Kingdom anthem and hosting the kingdom flag at all district functions, describing the kingdom as fighters of development.
In their wisdom, suspended the singing of the kingdom anthem. The movers and the seconders of that motion are known. Now, why should Paula Kateva now attach that one to the person of the district chairperson?
The king described the district action as treason, accusing Kabarole chairperson Richard Rabuhinga of failing to guide council.
Ekizina kya Toro tikizinwa omukama obw'abatuulizi baitu omukama obw'abaloha hangirizi ekizina kya Toro kizinwa.
Rabuhinga said there is no law that stops an individual from attending a cultural function.
It is redundant, it is ultra-vires, it is laughable, it is nugatory. You can never. Under which law?
Toro Kingdom youth have come up to call for a dialogue between the two entities, saying failure to do so will call for a legal action.
The district leadership to come and engage the kingdom leadership for a dialogue.
And if they don't do so, after 6 months, I personally will take them to courts of law.
The Ministry for Local Government recently intervened and ordered both parties to halt activities on this land until the matter is resolved.
The former Allied Democratic Forces rebels are undergoing a technology and skills development training to equip them with knowledge and survival skills. The over 2,000 former rebels in the western region were granted amnesty and resettled by the government of Uganda.
Since its establishment in 2000, the Amnesty Commission has pardoned over 2,000 former ADF rebels in the districts of Kasese, Bondibujo, Bunyangabu, and Toroko. The commission is now equipping the former fighters with survival skills. The Amnesty Commission is also making efforts to convince other rebels still in hiding in the Democratic Republic of Congo to surrender and be settled back to their respective communities.
Also to the former reporters, send messages and tell them, here we are. So they come. They come, normally we give them what we call resettlement package, 263,000 shillings. We give them hose, give them seeds, plant.
Henry Basaliza, the team leader for demobilizing and settlement for the ADF reporters, has also emphasized that amnesty is the only way that can bring peace in the country.
We are always appealing to reporters to come out of the bush, to come out of DRC, and then they report to us.
The beneficiaries commended government for integrating them in their respective communities, but also training them on how to earn a living.
And those who plan, you know, the people who may think going in the bush is very easy. Please come out, come out.
Kabanyolo Oliver, a resident of Bondibujo district, says they've attained skills in hairdressing and tailoring as women, but they do not have machines to use and therefore requested government to support them. The Amnesty Commission is a government agency established in 2000 with the aim of ending rebellion by encouraging rebels to surrender peacefully. Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
In a bid to curb the spread, discrimination and stigma in the world of work, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has taken lead in the implementation of the policy on HIV and AIDS in the world of work. According to the Commissioner Labour, Industrial Relations and Productivity, Alex Asimwe, the new policy aims at reducing infections, stigma and discrimination at workplaces.
You may know that the HIV and AIDS has serious effects on the workforce.
HIV/AIDS endemic, like any other healthy problems, has significant effects on socio-economic development of the nation. For the last 3 decades, HIV/AIDS has remained a major public health problem globally, despite concerted efforts to combat it. The Commissioner in charge of Labour, Industrial Relations and Productivity in the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Alex Asimwe, says a lot of challenges have been recorded in curbing the endemic in the world of work.
We are looking at scaling up the prevention and treatment and support measures from the perspective of the world of work.
Reports from UNAIDS indicates that whereas Uganda has managed to achieve a milestone in reducing the number of new infections, the number of new HIV infections remain unacceptably high, especially in the world of work.
We have about 1.5 million people who are affected with this disease. So you can see, and that 1.5, around 800,000 are in the range of 15 to 64.
Drake Rukundo, a consultant in the Ministry of Labour, stresses the need for enforcing the public policy framework for the mitigation of the impact of HIV/AIDS within the world of work.
Now the challenge we have had, that these workplaces, whether they are government or public, they have not prepared any interventions for workers. They have not prepared interventions for workers. That's why the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development thought it wise that let us have a policy that when you arrive at the workplace, you are either infected, you are positive, HIV positive, or you have a spouse or a child who is positive. There are activities and interventions that can be made by government for you.
Lack of enforcement of guidelines for workers on prevention, management and stigma is one of the challenges in implementing the policy.
If they are performing well at work, promote them. HIV shouldn't be a basis for denying them promotion. If you think the transfer is going to enhance their capacity, so do it.
According to the 2019 International Labour Organization global estimates, Uganda has close to 1.3 million individuals in the labour force living with HIV. Of this total, it's estimated that 580,000 are men, while the rest are women. The role of the national policy is to provide a framework for prevention of further spread of HIV and mitigation of the socio-economic impact of HIV/AIDS within the world of work in Uganda. Jane Ramcha, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
Thank you so much for watching. Let's take another short break. On return, we'll have business, international and sports news.
No one should stop you from finishing what's yours. That's why MTN gives you data bundles that don't expire. Load MTN Freedom Bundles using My MTN app and enjoy the freedom to finish your data bundles.
MTN.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
UBC Business News tonight. Ministry of Trade and Industry and Cooperatives. Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives is in need of 3 billion shillings to attend the Dubai 2020 Expo. The Expo is regarded as the world's largest meeting place and offers many opportunities such as networking and promotion of international relationships.
The World Expo 2020 Dubai, which was due to start in October 2020 and run through until March 2021, was due to COVID-19 postponed by the United Arab Emirates and is now slated to take place from 1st October 2021 to 31st March 2022. Uganda, which is among the participants, is looking for 3 billion Uganda shillings to facilitate her representatives to the Global Expo.
The international expos are a way to creation of market
The Ministry requires funds to facilitate the participation in the Dubai Expo, and that is 3.0 billion.
While presenting a ministerial policy statement for the financial year 2021-2022, Minister for Trade and Cooperatives Amelia Chambade told the Parliamentary Committee on Trade to consider facilitating this international expo, which is of great importance to the country.
So the budget was reduced to 3 billion. We are still appealing, it's still our prayer that they approve the 3 billion so that we can attend or organize this expo, because we think we'll be able to benefit as a country.
However, the committee chaired by Kasule Robert Sebunya, the Member of Parliament for Nansana Municipality, tasked the Minister to provide information on how the country has benefited from such expos to enable them make a case for their vote.
But we are going to submit more detailed documents.
Yes, give us a matrix. Give us a matrix of those international contributions,
yes,
those that have been paid, the pending, and we know where to appeal. Because if you don't give us information, then there's no way you are going to be helped. As we know trade is underserved, but we need full information, and that information must collaborate with the information from the Ministry of Finance.
Minister Chambade singled out epidemics like Ebola in DRC and the global COVID-19 pandemic as those that affected Ugandan exports. She also declared inadequate budgetary provisions and budget cuts by 20.325 billion from 89.2 billion in the financial year 2020-2021 to 68 billion in the financial year 2021-2022, and budgetary shortfalls that affected the ministry's performance. Bernard Higa, Parliament.
The National Drug Authority, which is responsible for veterinary and human medicines in the country, has arrested the District Veterinary Officer of Chankwanzi, Dr. Moses Achong, on allegations of employing unqualified personnel to sell veterinary drugs. The arrest was after the authority had received complaints from cattle keepers of fake drugs on the market, which prompted them to carry out an operation where a N6 liver was found selling veterinary drugs without requisite qualifications.
The operation has been carried out in Mbali Market, Nsambia Sub-County in Chankwanzi District by National Drug Authority, where a 1 Augustine Sematimba was caught selling veterinary drug without a license and proper papers to operate a drug shop.
Mwami tukizo mubuuza nga yakoma mu senior 6 bwe buyigirize bwakola ki bwayina kitegeeza talina bisaanyizo ebyobuyigirize ebimukkiriza okutunda ki eddagala.
Sematimba later revealed that the drug shop was not his, but rather belonged to Dr. Moses Akong. Sematimba was later taken on to Chankwanzi Police Post, and Dr. Moses Akong called to make a statement about the allegations and was also detained. Dr. Moses Akong has said that as a DVO, his mandate is to authorize drug shops whose owners present the required documents or approval. But National Drug Authority is the one responsible for the drugs in the shops. Cattle keepers have revealed that veterinary drugs are very expensive, and when they use them, their animals become blind. A case has been opened against both culprits at Chankwanzi Police Station, and once investigations are complete, the two are expected to be taken to court. George Nyonzima, Helen Barbara for UBC News.
Various e-trade enterprises under their new umbrella body, E-Trade Association, are appealing to government to re-enable smooth use of Facebook and lift the curfew on border industry, being that these are the tools that drive their services. The E-Trade Association represents private sector trade companies and organizations that use the power of the internet to drive job creation.
Members of the E-Trade Association of Uganda, whose businesses majorly rely on the internet, raised critical policy concerns affecting the well-being of their businesses.
Small businesses, those in the fashion industry, small boutiques, restaurants, online companies use Facebook to be able to reach customers and make business. By closing of Facebook, you are closing many businesses.
The border industry earnings have gone as low as 50% due to the 5 p.m. 5 a.m. curfew, which included the prime time for the public transport sector to make money.
It is time that we feel that that government should come to the rescue, not of only our economy, but to the rescue of our people. Safe Border as alone represents a community of over 20,000 people who have, to a certain extent, been rendered jobless.
The e-commerce business community notes that the continued shutdown of Facebook, even after the January 2021 general elections, is frustrating their marketing initiatives.
But the current status in terms of where we're at, dinner is void. I talk on behalf of restaurants and I talk on behalf of the e-commerce platforms. So when you look at a business, and not only food and beverage, what are we looking at? We're looking at profitability. When your profitability is compromised, and it is compromised right now because we cannot do dinner in terms of curfew.
Uganda's e-commerce market offers a wide range of goods and services, including the possibility to pay taxes online. The main e-commerce platforms in the country include Jumia, Dondolo, Gazebos, Goods Express, Intraline, Purple Rain, OLX, and iTrade. Wadulo Mark Arnold, Nsamba Juma, UBC News.
The government of Uganda has honored the national Under-20 team for their good display at the just concluded Under-20 AFCON tournament. Fronted by State Minister for Sports Hamson Oboa, the team was praised for ably representing the country, coming up runners-up for the first time in history. The Under-20 football team lost to Ghana on a 2-0 to come second at the competition. Meanwhile, the national senior side, the Cranes, had training at the Philip Omondi Stadium ahead of their travel to Malawi. Uganda will charter a Uganda Airlines plane to Malawi for the final AFCON qualifier game. The final game, to be played on Monday, will determine whether Uganda will feature at the finals. Uganda drew 0-0 with Burkina Faso at home and now requires at least a draw to progress.
Team of the tournament by emerging as winning the award of the fair play team. Madam Speaker, those of us who play football know that if you are rated as the fair play team of the tournament, it means you have exhibited the best discipline and the best play at all times. Under-20 Cup of Nations in Mauritania. Number 2, Parliament urges government to allocate adequate resources to the development of sports in Uganda. Number 3, Parliament urges government to expeditiously meet all outstanding benefits and bonuses due to the players. And number 4, Parliament urges government to consider administering special examinations to the players who missed the examinations because of their participation in the tournament. We beg to move. We are standing confidently to second the motion for a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the Uganda Hippos Under-20 for their exceptional performance at the 2021 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations in Mauritania. They have done us such a wonderful thing.
I'm standing here to add my voice to the efforts of Parliament to pay tribute and congratulate the boys of Hippos and the entire country upon our recent success in games.
Madam Speaker, for a long time this Parliament has always emphasized grooming and nurturing of talent. And when our country participates for the first time in the Under-20 and they proceed up to finals, I believe that this is action in terms of grooming and nurturing the future sportsmen and women of the country.
In a very difficult time.
Three of Africa's top netball nations, that is South Africa, Uganda and Namibia, will be fighting it out for top honors in the SPAR Challenge International Tri-Nation Series at the Cape Town International Convention Center from Thursday 25th until March 31st. The SPAR Proteas ranked 5th in the world, the Uganda Shikrens 7th, and the Namibian Debmarine Jewels 23rd. The tournament is very important for all three nations, who will all be seeking to boost their world rankings and gain very important international experience after a year in which the COVID-19 pandemic played havoc with the preparations for the next year's Commonwealth Games and the World Cup in Cape Town of 2023. The Uganda team captain is optimistic ahead of the tournament that starts for them later this year, Thursday.
Yeah, it's a good pleasure to being hosted by the South Africa Netball Club. As Shikrens, we are so great to being hosted by the team. So we are ready. We are so happy. We are so excited to see that as we Shikrens, we improve on our netball and keep on playing well with our fellow players, and to see how to improve on our game and to keep on our players at home, to encourage them how to play netball. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. That brings us to the end of News Tonight. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakoni here and the whole team. We wish you the best of the night. We leave you with Semper Alex Kim, who has the weather forecast report as he gives it to us here.
Welcome. Here is the latest in weather from the Weather Center with Semper Alex Kim. We are having a reduction in wet weather activities across the country. That is why today we've seen sunny intervals across our skies. The kind of weather we're experiencing is mainly because of a push on the rain belt to the west, far away from our country, because of a continental high pressure system that has caused that effect. We do expect to see sunny intervals across our skies in the morning. However, in the afternoon, we do expect some pickup of rainfall that will be in the western sector of the country, though it will be quite isolated and light. Because of this kind of weather, we do expect temperatures to rise to 35 degrees centigrade. That will be quite hot in the Karamoja region. 29 in Kampala, and in Kabale Highlands, we are forecasting at 25 degrees centigrade. And elsewhere across the globe, we do expect some light rainfall that will be in Amsterdam as well as in Dar es Salaam. But for Dubai, we do expect cloudy conditions to dominate most of the day at a daytime high over 35 degrees centigrade. With that, we wrap it up. Stay tuned.
Up next on UBC, brought to you by
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money, simple, secure, borderless.